bold journalist,
but Drew Hernandez is a strong-minded individual.
exposing lawlessness,
Hernandez, who is ideological,
finding the truth,
and use the word Antifa.
This is what they do.
battling
They're
mainstream
liars. The woke mob, all they can do is lie.
These are the front lines.
What's going on, thought criminals? Welcome to Frontlines. I am your host, Drew Hernandez. Listen, man, the left is always talking about racism and white supremacy and white people are all bad and evil, even from birth, and systemic racism and all this critical race theory garbage, but they never want to talk about racist black people or racist brown people. They just kind of like, you know, sweep that under the rug because the narrative is all white people have to be bad. But anytime they actually show, you know, some real racism coming from black people or brown people or any other people, it only has to be white people, right? Well, here on this show, we're going to be fair and we're going to expose the racism of all people because we believe that's kind of like what's the right thing to do, of course. And also, I mean, these people are going after Andy Ngo as well, sending him like, you know, these death threats through Instagram messaging. And Disney is a burning building. They're bringing Bob Iger back. People on social media are like, oh, yay, things are going to change. No, they're not. I can guarantee you. He's kind of part of the problem and how we got here to begin with. So the great Jeremy Prime from Geeks and Gamers will be joining me to talk about that on the second half of the show. But before we begin, I want to thank you guys for watching tonight. Remember, America Fest is having a huge Black Friday deal, $20 for general admission and 50% off VIP. Go to amfest.com for this special deal right now. My name is Drew Hernandez. You are now on the front lines. Well, let's continue. I mean, take a look at this video, right? These people are out of control and they're clearly racist and they don't back down at all. So here's this story out of Seattle, right? Over the weekend, Andy Ngo reported in Seattle's Capitol Hill area where Chaz, used to be, a woman named LaDonna Ritchie repeatedly hurled racist insults at an Asian American woman. Local Democrat and Asian leadership has not responded because the racist woman is black. Take a look at this video.
You're racist? That's what you said?
That's what I said.
What did you say?
It's not against the law. You heard what I said. Go eat your dog with some rice.
Wow.
She said, go eat your dog with some rice.
That's what I said. Go eat your dog with some rice. That's what I said. It's not against the law. You. Record our smash face.
What did I say? You said go eat your dog with rice?
Yeah.
Yeah, post that.
Yeah, post that. Make sure you get me good, ho.
Oh,
about
you don't look good, but I did.
Go do some
and your kid is laughing at you being
Go
racist.
do some nails or some feet or something.
Whoa. All right. Go. She said, let's cut this. She said, go do some nails or some feet or something. Whoa. Go eat your dog with some rice. But, you know, black people can't be racist, so the media is not touching that. If that was like a white woman with a mega hat on, you know, Anderson Cooper, CNN, it'd be all over the place, and everyone would be running around with their hair on fire because it confirms the narrative to them, right? That, oh, white people are racist, but you have these racist freaking black people turning around telling Asians to go back to their country, but no one wants to say a thing. They just totally pull back from it because, you know, black people can't be racist, according to these people. Well, here's the Asian woman that was actually in the video recording, breaking down the situation for context so you guys understand what actually took place.
So this happened at the Shell on Madison, right across from Trader Joe's in Capitol Hill, Seattle. And if you know that gas station, you know that it's owned by an Asian family. So it's usually one of 3 Asian men who are working there. And yesterday, when this happened, it was the elderly Asian man, like the grandpa, you know, very sweet, very quiet. This lady that I was recording, we had walked in at pretty much the same time. He was already helping someone, like with a transaction and there was someone else waiting behind him. So I like get in line like a normal person. And so the way that this gas station is set up is like the counter is right there when you open the door. So she kind of opens the door halfway and she tells him like, I need $6 on pump 1, whatever. And he's like in the middle of a transaction, so he can't like help her right away. And there's a line, right? So she, I guess, gets frustrated. I don't know. Not even 3 seconds later, she throws the cash in his face. Yeah, I'm not exaggerating. She throws, and like aggressively too, over the plastic barrier, hits his face. So at that point, I'm shocked. He doesn't say anything. So naturally, something about me is whenever I see people being rude to elderly Asian people in public, it triggers something in me. I can't deal with it. I can't stand it. I need to speak up.
Again, if all the races were switched in all of this, it would be headline news all over the world. And, but of course, like I said, because the woman's black, she gets a pass. Well, shout out to the Asians, man. Shout out to the Asians, man. I love Asian people, dude. So actually, one of the friends that we've had on this show, journalist Jonathan Cho, actually tracked this woman down, actually tracked this racist black woman down and confronted her. And look at her response.
What are you doing? Hi, are you LaDonna?
I am.
Ma'am, I just, have you seen the video of you hurling all those racial slurs? I'm a journalist. I just wanted to get your side of the story.
I don't got no side of the story. Why are you on our property?
Do you regret using all those racial
not
slurs?
at all.
You don't? Would you like to say anything?
I don't. That is a protected individual in society, a protected class, where if she was white, it'd be racist, white supremacist. Well, you don't regret your racism? You don't regret, oh my God, you don't regret being a racist? But because she's black, she gets the pass because black people can't be racist. That's where we are right now in 2022. I mean, here's some further evidence. So whatever happened to hashtag Stop Asian Hate? Isn't it crazy how the left just kind of like shifts the narrative anytime they need to? It's like, oh, Asian people are being attacked by all the whites. Well, actually, it's a bunch of black people attacking Asians. Oh, stop. Okay, let's pull away. Because we can't make violent black people look bad. We can't make violent minorities look bad. So let's pull away and just let all the Asians get beat up and threatened. But I laugh because these people are like, we're the SJWs. We're going to save the minorities. We care so much about inclusivity and diversity. And we're the ones that are going to give a voice to the voiceless. These people are full of garbage, dude. Here's another perfect example. Remember this guy? Remember this mentally ill psychopath out of New York City last week? The guy in the middle? Yes, that's a dude, not a woman. Remember he was threatening women out in public in New York City? Well, Andy Ngo was trying to get a comment from this guy, and his response were more threats and more anti-Asian rhetoric because these black people hate Asians. I don't know. Just look.
Hi, you. Just sending you a little message today because another girl from the UK said she knows where you live. And it's funny because I have connections in the UK too. I'm about to run up on you. Also, you posting on Twitter does absolutely nothing. You're a nobody. You could never stop my bag. I'm best friends with the owner of Coach. He already done messaged me about your crazy turf. You think that he would put trans women in his fashion show and then think twice about that decision? You idiot. No, I choreographed that entire show. I walked in that entire show. You can't take that away from me, baby. I'm on a billboard in Times Square. Also, bitch, I ain't ever scared of you. We ain't ever scared of you. I hock the loogie right in your girl's face, right in the man's face. These men that you say are women, cis women ain't The turfs that you protect and you are gonna rot in hell, and I'll be first to send you there. Andy Nago, get a real last name.
Dude, it's just so wild to me because it's like actual real misogyny. You know, like this dude hates women. It's just like openly hates women. It's like, yeah, I spit in a woman's face and I'm mentally ill and I think I'm a woman and I could do it. And if I wanted to punch her too, I get away with that too because I'm a woman. It's like, dude, it is just so off the rails, dude. And like the simulation changes are just so bipolar. It's so hard to keep up with. Here's Rep. Sheila Jackson Lee claiming reparations to black people would have stopped the spread of COVID.
Stands on the basis of facts. There is no doubt that we have been impacted. That DNA in the trajectory of slavery to today. For example, at COVID, black African Americans got COVID at a rate nearly 1.5 times higher than that of white people, or hospitalized at a rate nearly 4 times higher and 3 times likely to die. COVID hit us very desperately. Interestingly, a recent peer-reviewed study from Harvard Medical School suggests that reparations for African Americans could have cut COVID-19 transmission and infection rates both among blacks and the population at large. Reparations are curative. They're not punishment. The analysis continued to look at data throughout the nation.
It's just so ridiculous, dude. Yeah, give black people free money. That would have stopped the spread of COVID. Like, dude, oh my goodness. It's just so, I remember being in the Bronx in 2021 when all the black people were like, dude, we don't want the jabs. Stay the hell away from us. We just want our freedom. This reminds us of Jim Crow. I remember all of that. But, you know what's crazy too is they get the worst black people, right, in the mainstream media to represent black people, and it just makes them look bad, dude. As a minority myself, I can attest to that. These diversity hires make us all look bad. It is the way it is, and get them out of there. At least give us someone good. At least give us someone smart and articulate up there to not make us all look stupid and woke-tarded. Well, speaking of the stupid and the woke-tarded, well, Disney, I mean, we've been covering Disney for a long time, and Disney is the culture, and the wokeism and the SJWs and all of the groomers have been, hijacking Disney and pushing all that crap for a long time, actually, by the way. But right now, there's been kind of this change. There's actually been like a little coup going on within the ranks in Disney, and Bob Iger's returned. This is from Bounding into Comics. The Walt Disney Company attempts to solve its problems by rehiring the architect of those problems. Bob Iger returns as CEO. Bob Chapek is out. Joining me now is the great Jeremy Prime with Geeks and Gamers to break this situation down. Jeremy, just break this down for us, for the viewers as well. What's going on? What's the situation? And where's it going?
Well, I'm one of the few people that said this back in the day. Not the only one, but one of the few, and I still firmly believe this, that Bob Iger never left. He was always pulling the strings behind the scenes.
Kind of like Obama and President Biden.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The day that he stepped down, and I re-uploaded videos for the receipts, the day he stepped down, I said, Bob Chapek is a fall guy. Bob Iger sees what's going on overseas with the coronavirus and how it's destroying economies and how there's things coming. He had inside information as how all this is going to happen because he's at his heart, he's a politician and he wants to run for political office. He stepped away publicly. Bob Chapek runs the company publicly so that he ultimately gets the blame. And then I said point blank in my video 2 years ago, I said, and at some point, Bob Iger will come back into the fold after everything has been destroyed. And it looks like he's going to be the savior to rebuild Disney. And that's what I believe happened the entire time. I don't believe Bob Iger ever ultimately left because this is the dumbest thing you can do. You move away from a guy, and then when things fall apart based on everything that guy built, you then bring that guy back into the equation. Makes no sense whatsoever. Bob Iger's a politician, a left-wing politician at that. So this is all about his plan to continue to make himself look good when the company was going to go through a disaster. That's what I believe.
Well, I think it's pretty clear. I mean, obviously, I think Bob Iger is a part of the huge problem with Disney right now. Like
massive. He is the problem. Is the problem.
Exactly. If that is true, just handed this handed this whole thing over. I mean, all he really does is just kind of like buy assets, buys Marvel, buys Star Wars, buys all this, and just hands it over to the woke and hands it over to the SJWs to destroy it. I personally don't think he's going to fix anything, because I think it will have to be, it's going to, in my opinion, it'll require like the Musk approach. It's just got to be scorched earth. You just got to fire everybody within. And then the investors is kind of part of the conversation as well. How many are woke, or how many just want normal movies? What's your take on that, Jeremy? What do you think it will take to reform Disney? Do you think it would take like the Musk approach? Obviously, Iger's not going to do that, but what are we seeing here?
Well, I mean, it is, no matter how left he is and no matter how corrupt he is, and he is, money still speaks, and money is still the predominant thing. So it's funny how we didn't get a sequel to Ghostbusters 2016. Why? Because Ghostbusters 2016 lost money. Suddenly wokeness is only determined on profits. Interesting how that works. So right now with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is going in the wrong direction right now. It's really bad. Star Wars is completely irrelevant and dead. So you can't continue that woke BS that you've been pushing into these properties. The way they were able to do that, I explain woke like it's a disease. Wokeness is a disease. Now, when a disease takes over a body, if the body is extremely healthy, it takes a long time for that disease to start showing its effects. So when the Marvel Cinematic Universe blew up and it was built off of good storytelling and good characters, then the wokeness started to get into it. But it was very strong. So it's taken a little while for that disease to kind of show. Now that disease has taken full impact on the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Same with Star Wars. Star Wars was a powerful brand. That disease started getting involved, and now we're starting to see how bad it really is. And so Bob Iger can't continue on the woke path, at least for the short term. He's going to have to actually do things the right way, and it's going to give people a false sense of security. People are going to buy back into it, I think, for the short term. The problem is the moment they start that shift once again, it's going to hurt them significantly worse. Disney has to have a Twitter-esque fall is what they have to have. And that's going to begin and end with profits. So right now, I do believe Bob Iger, I don't think he is a skilled storyteller. I don't think he's a skilled creator. I think he's a skilled politician. And I think that he will be a political opportunist with coming back into the fold publicly. And I think he'll do a few things the right way, at least at first. But that wokeness is not going away. Look at the people. Look at the Zoom calls that we've seen leaked from Disney. These people hate your guts, and they want to indoctrinate your children. That is a fact. No one can dispute that. So those people are still there. So the moment Bob Iger tries to move away from any of this for the public perception, the people that they have hired are going to try to eat him alive. So I think that they're looking at a big problem as he moves into this. I really do think it's a big problem for him.
I totally agree, because, I mean, when you take a look at it in the scope of politics as well, is these people threaten you, they attempt to take you down in your reputation from within, they give the minority of the people the biggest voice. That's essentially what Disney has done. But what's taking place right now is people are clearly identifying, I think, where is Marvel right now? They just finished phase 4, right?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So my wife came to me, and I've told you this before, like, I'm just so over this stuff. I don't even, like, I have to pay attention to it so I can commentate on it, but, like, I just have no desire to watch any of this stuff anymore. It's just beyond the pale, because they clearly, they're open. We make this stuff because we hate you and we want to piss you out. Like, they're just open. Anyways, my wife was like, they just finished phase 4. I'm like, what? I'm like, they did? Like, that magic and that whole hype for everything, and their excuse is like,
gone.
Oh, COVID, because no one can go to the... No. It's gone, and it's dead. Jeremy Prime, if Jeremy Prime is CEO of Disney right now, let's just say the keys were given to you, bro. I trust your opinion because you're in the culture. You commentate this on all the time. Every time you and Nerderotic, Gary, and Ryan Kinnell and the whole squad are commentating on this stuff, you guys are like always spot on. What would you do? What would you do to reform Disney right now? Financially, socially, what would your idea be?
I think the true test of a person, and this is going to sound kind of crazy, but I think anyone with a level-headed brain would understand what I'm going to do. I would take every top person at Disney and set them down and ask them their opinion of Donald Trump. Now, it doesn't matter what they say. It matters how they react. And if you just say, yeah, I'm not a big fan of Donald Trump, I don't really, like his policies, yada,
but it's
yada,
not going to affect my art.
That's an acceptable answer. Right. That's an acceptable. If they lose their mind and talk about he's a Nazi, and then you're fired. Get out of here. Get out of here. You're gone. That was what I would do. Get everyone's opinion on Donald Trump and see how they react. And their reaction, not their answer, their reaction determines if they stay with this company. And I will go scorched earth with anyone that gives me anything that resembles TDS, because I think as a company, I think Disney is overrun with TDS. I think it's overrun with it, just like at Lucasfilm, just like with Marvel, which is all part of Disney ultimately. But with something like Disney or with Lucasfilm, I would call George Lucas right now. I would apologize to him for everything that they did. And I would say, George, please, I'll give you everything back. Just please fix Star Wars for me. I don't want to deal with it. I just want you to do whatever you want. Here's the budget. Here's everything you need. And whatever you want to do, you can retcon everything Disney has ever done under the Star Wars banner and create what you want to create. I would take the Marvel Cinematic Universe and I would completely reboot it from Endgame. I would take that Endgame moment and just reboot it from there, wipe everything from this most previous phase away. I would hire John Lasseter back from Pixar because he's the one that got fired for giving inappropriate hugs. He's the guy that built Pixar, and Pixar has went downhill since he got fired for this Me Too garbage. So those are the three pillars: your Marvel, your Lucasfilm, and your Pixar. Those are three massive pillars that have all fallen apart over woke nonsense. Now, the theme park side, I think the theme park side is actually in decent shape. There's not a lot of bad
real quick,
stuff.
Jeremy, I want your take. Who was responsible for the Star Wars Disney buyout from George Lucas? That was Bob Iger, right? Okay,
Bob
so
Iger.
this is why I tell people I don't trust this dude, because it came out that they were aware that George Lucas had a script ready to go for a sequel trilogy. They knew about it. They bought it anyways because they wanted profit more, and they gave the assumption that they were going to run with George Lucas's baby.
Yes.
That's what he calls the Star Wars franchise, his baby, his children, right?
Yep.
They bought it intentionally under Bob Iger's leadership, gave the assumption to George Lucas, we're going to run with it, we're going to go with your sequel trilogy, and then they just pull it under the rug entirely, and here we are. Here we are.
Yes,
here we are
they
with Ray.
threw it away. They threw
This is why I don't trust Bob
trilogy. You can't trust Bob Iger. He's the guy that's done it all. And they're in his book. Bob Iger talks about how George Lucas felt betrayed by him. That's in Bob Iger's book, where he felt George felt a sense of betrayal. That's why George Lucas called Disney the white slavers. He said that in an interview.
Because they did. Yes. And then here comes Kathleen Kennedy and the whole woke agenda. And it's just women berating men in Star Wars. Don't trust Bob Iger. I just got to say it publicly, man. I don't think things are going to get better. We got 20 seconds left. Jeremy, what are your final words? And where can people follow you and keep up with you on YouTube and all your great shows?
Well, thank you for having me. And my final word is that I don't think Disney's ultimately going to get any better. That might be a false perception that they're going to get better in the short term, but the disease is still there and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. So thanks for having me on, Drew. You can follow me at Geeks and Gamers and my personal channel, D-Day Cobra, where I do a little more political stuff on my personal channel there. And yeah, geeksandgamers.com. Thanks for having me on.
Also, make sure to go get that merch. People are like, what's that shirt? It comes from
Be Tactical. 221 Be Tactical.
It comes from Geeks and Gamers. Thanks for joining me, bro.
Yes, thank you so much.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, thought criminals, parents, Americans, this stuff is only going to get better once we push back, call it out, and expose it for what it really is. And don't fall for the psyops, man. Don't fall for these people giving an appearance of normalization coming back. We have to hold them accountable with our wallets as well. My name is Drew Hernandez. These are the front lines. I will see every single one of you guys on the next one.
We must play offense. Game on.
You expect the rest of the world to live in La La Land. We're not.
We've been saying these things from day one.
Our solemn vow to you, be good, be brief, be gone.
You might find yourself changing your opinion on things you never even thought twice about. That really sets America apart.
You are not ready for season 2. This is Reloaded.
My life tale and my truth has been to fight socialism.
Are you familiar with structural racism?
Yeah, it's a myth.